continue with the technical subjects as prescribed for today's session. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third day of this exclusive session for valuation topics under CEV IAF RVO. Without wasting any time, I would like to request Dr. Rajvinder sir to please take the charge to continue with the subject so that we can be able to finish all the topics as prescribed for today's syllabus within the permissible time limit. Welcome to the class, sir, and namaskar.
Thank you, Sandeep ji, and very warm welcome to all the participants. Today, we will be discussing, first of all, we will be discussing the topic that is how to do valuation based upon detailed cost estimate. So many times you have to do the valuation based upon detailed cost estimate, especially when you are doing valuation for CBDT, or when you are doing valuation for court purposes, where you have to defend your valuation. You cannot directly use plinth area rates there. So we will be taking one fictitious examples that how we have to carry out the valuation in such cases, and what are the data which you have to provide there. So first of all, you must understand whenever you are doing valuation, what are the basic documents which you require for doing valuation. Whatever type of valuation you have to do, you have to take following types of documents. First is property title deed, that is for proof of ownership, and if some chain documents are also available, you should also go through them. Then encumbrance certificate, that whether the property has having certain lien over it or it is a free status. Then sale deed or agreement to sell. If you are doing valuation for housing loan, many times you have to carry out valuation of the plot, and you have to go through the documents, that is agreement to sell. Then you must have a survey plan. In each state they are having survey plan. They may be named some in language, in local language. Here in Punjab it is called Shajara plan. Maybe it is called with some other name in your state. So for technically it is a survey plan. So you must have survey plan from where you can have land boundary details, area details, etc. That is with the revenue department, with the Patwari. And many states they have also uploaded it on their websites. You can go through them. And of course, then you must have a KYC of all the owners, so that you have identity and address proof of the owners. So these are the ownership and legal documents which you should go through while doing valuation. Then some regulatory and financial documents, approved building plan, if it is in a municipal area, and if it is outside the municipal area, then the approved building plan from the concerned authority. Then property tax receipts, latest paid receipts, you must get it from the owner. Then if it is a leased property, then you should have a lease agreement for income generating properties, you must have to go through lease agreement and the convents which are mentioned in the lease deed. Then if it is a RERA approved property, then you have to look for a RERA registration certificate for under construction assets, especially in case of under construction assets. So for institutional or lender mandated valuation, additional documents such as occupancy certificate. So many times when uh, you are doing valuation for a housing loans, especially after the construction of the house, many times you have to do the valuation again of the constructed amount of estimated amount which has been incurred upon the construction of the building. For that, you need occupancy certificate from the concerned authority. Occupancy certificate is issued after the owner submit constructed plan and the authorities, concerned authorities, they check that it is in a line with the proposed plan which the owner has submitted in the corporation or the concerned authorities. And everything is done according to the specifications or other things. After that, occupancy certificate is issued by the concerned authority. Means authority gives you the right to enter that newly constructed house. Then in certain conditions, you have to look for if it is a large mega project, then you have to look for environmental clearances and FSI utilization statement. That's all. Such FSI has been utilized, and remaining FSI which is unutilized, or if there are certain transfer of development rights, then how much FSI can be purchased. All these documents you have to look for before doing the valuation. So as far as detailed cost estimation method is concerned, so generally what we do in cost approach method, what we do, we calculate the cost of the land based upon market approach, and then we calculate the cost of construction on the basis of plinth area rates, and then we apply the depreciation as applicable. But in detailed cost estimation, what we do? Anybody who can explain what is detailed cost estimation method?
इसमें सर जितने भी एक्टिविटीज़ होनी है, पीसीसी एक्सकेवेशन, सारे आइटम्स की लिस्ट बना करके उनके हिसाब से उनके क्वांटिटी से मल्टीप्लाई करके तब कॉस्ट निकालनी.
So,
डिटेल कॉस्ट एस्टिमेशन ऐसा समझते हैं.
So for detailed cost estimation, what we do, first of all, we calculate the quantities of different materials. Then we apply schedule of rate. So basically, what is schedule of rate? Schedule of rate, each state public works department issues a schedule of rates where rates of each item is given, such as let us suppose M20 RCC, M25 RCC, or for flooring, etc. For each and every item, rate is given. So for calculating detailed cost estimate, what are the things which you require? What are the documents you require?
Detailed drawings.
Yes, sir. So the first thing is you must have detailed drawings with you.
Specification.
Then you require specifications. Then you
Schedule of
require structural drawings.
structural drawings.
So at least detailed drawings in which you must have detailed plans, elevations, and sections with you. And then you must have structural drawings with you, and you must have detailed specifications. So these are the, in case if you are doing valuation, generally what we do, we take only the detailed approved plan. But here you must, you may need other drawings also. And you, so here when you are doing, basically when you are doing valuation, so as far as specification is concerned, it is for you to go to the site and note down the specifications. So this is the difference here. If you are doing estimate, so it is the specifications which will be told by the owner that I will be using this type of material. But when you are doing valuation, it means it is already constructed. It has been already constructed. So difference between estimation and valuation is that here we have to decide, we don't have to decide about the specification, we have to note down the specification which are existing at the site. This is the difference. So especially when you do valuation for income tax purposes, so there you have to give cost of construction. If you are doing capital gain purpose, that is different issue. But sometimes when someone is constructing a house and income tax authorities give him the notice that you have spent so much amount over the construction, and you have to give the details of the source of income. So the client comes to you, he says that I have spent, let us suppose he says that I have spent only 20 lakhs, but the income tax authorities are saying that you have spent more than 35 lakhs. So there you will have to use this detailed cost estimation method. And if you are doing valuation for code purposes, if there is certain case in the code, you have to defend your valuation there. So what you have to do? You have to apply this detailed cost estimation method so that you are able to defend your valuation. So especially in these two cases, you have to use this method. There may be certain other scenarios where you have to use this method. So we will be taking when to use this method. So for newly recently constructed building with the little market evidence, specialized properties such as for factories, hospitals, schools, etc. So basically, many times in CPWD, they are giving plinth area rates for hospitals and schools, etc. But in state plinth area rates, they hardly gives you plinth area rates for hospitals, schools, etc. And especially in the case of factories. So what happens in case of factories? You cannot get the plinth area rates for the factories, godowns, etc. There you have to use a detailed cost estimation method. Of course, you can get hospitals or schools plinth area rates from CPWD, but many states they are not giving you these plinth area rates for schools and hospitals. There you have to use this detailed cost estimation. So you may use it for mortgage and collateral security valuation for banks. If you are conversant with this method, if you are, you can do it easily, then you can use this method. Then for government acquisition and compensation purposes. So this is very important. So when some compensation is to be given or government is acquiring a property, there you have to give You cannot simply say that this is plinth area rate and this is plinth area rate, you multiply. That is not possible. There you have to use this method. And then, of course, dispute where historical records are available. So formula, basic formula that will remain the same, that value, property value, it is equals to land value and plus depreciated replacement cost. So where depreciated replacement cost, replacement cost new minus incurred depreciation. So now we will be taking an example.
Sir, sorry to disturb you. Sir,
Yeah.
can you please maximize the screen if possible?
I will try if possible.
Sir, slide mode. Correct.
Oh, sir. Is it okay now?
Yeah, clear.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Okay.
So we will be taking, this is just an example. Maybe many things are there which are fictitious. These are not actual example. This is just an example to make the things clear. We use a single representative property throughout this document. The subject property is a residential bungalow. It is located in a well-established urban locality in Pune, Maharashtra. One of the India's fastest growing real estate. The property details below form the basis of all subsequent calculations. This is the location, plot number 47, sector 12, Maharashtra. Plot area is 300 square meter. Shape is rectangular. Frontage is 15 meter and depth is 20 meter. So it is not a corner plot. So building details, it is a G+1 residential bungalow. Built up area is 220 square meter. Year of construction is 2009. Age of the building is 15 years. We are doing valuation, yes, let us suppose in 2024. So the year is of age of the building. So it is basically chronological age, 15 years. Then structural specifications are, structure is RCC framed structure. Walls are 230 millimeter brick masonry. Roof is RCC flat slab. Finish is standard plus grade. The property has been maintained in good conditions with periodic whitewashing and minor repairs. No major structural alterations have been carried out since original construction. The valuation date is 1st October 2024. All rates are based on Pune PWD schedule of rates 2023-24 and prevailing market rates as reported by the local contractors and material supplier. So first of all, we will calculate the value of the land. For land, you have to apply, comparable sales method. So it will remain the same. This part will remain the same. There will not be any difference in that. So land is determined independently from the building value in the cost approach. So land, it is not depreciable. So we will not be taking only depreciation over it. So for that we have taken three comparables. So transaction 1, comparable 1, plot number 31. Area is 280 square meter. It was sold for 2 crore 24 lakh. And rate per square meter is 80,000 per square meter. Comparable to plot number 55. It was of area 320 square meter. It was sold for 2 crore 72 lakh. And the rate per square meter comes out to be 85,000 per square meter. And plot number 3, it was sold for 2 crore 55 lakh. Its area in square meter is 300, so it rate per square meter is 85,000. And the guideline rate in 2023-24 is 72,000. So rate varies from 80 to 85. So we are not taking other things into consideration. Maybe there are many things that maybe the plot is park facing, but maybe it is a corner plot. What other things we are just taking it as a average of the three, which approximately comes out to be 82,000 per square meter. So land value, 82,000 per square meter. Land area is 300 square meter. Value comes out to be 2 crore 46 lakh. So we are giving equal weightage to the three comparable transactions. We assume that time, location, and plot characteristics, etc. Guideline rate is 72,000. So as it is not a corner plot, we are not applying any adjustment for corner plot. Now we do the calculation for the building works. So it is a G1 plus 1 RCC frame structure. So as you know, total built-up area is 220 square meter. We assume it to be that the area per floor is 110 square meter per floor. The foundation consists of RCC footings at the column basis. So we will be using schedule of rates as given by PWD, Pune PWD schedule of rate 23-24 with we are applying a 15% market premium over schedule of rate to reflect for actual contract pricing. Contractor rate is somewhat higher than the schedule of rates. So we are applying just 15% market premium over it. So we will not be going into details that how the calculation is to be done for different items. These things as an engineer or as an architect, you can very easily calculate these things. In the detailed estimate, you may use in to in or out to out method, or you can use center line method. Mostly we will be using center line method while calculating the different items. We are just taking the items. For example, excavation for footings. So quantity comes out to be 85. Unit is cubic meter. Rate 500. So value 85 into 500, 42,500. Then plain cement concrete 1:4 into 2:8. Lean concrete, which is used in the footing. So quantity is 12 cubic meter, rate is 3,000 per cubic meter, 36,000. Then RCC in isolated footings. Quantity is 18 cubic meter, rate is 11,000 per cubic meter, value is 1,98,000. Then column stubs and pedestals. 6 cubic meter, 14,000, rate amount is 84,000. Then backfilling and compaction. 60 cubic meter, rate is 300 per cubic meter, 18,000. So total foundation work cost comes out to be 3,78,500. So there may be certain other items also in the foundation work. That you can do. So this is just an example that what are the things which you may take. If there is a brick wall also, then you have to calculate that thing also. Then we are not, then for the superstructure or RCC frame structure, RCC columns, M25 grade ground floor plus first floor, 22 cubic meter, rate is again 15,000 per cubic meter, 3,30,000. Then RCC beams, ground floor plus first floor, including plinth beam also 28 cubic meter, rate is 14,000. Amount is 3,92,000. Then RCC flat slab 150 millimeter thick for 2 floors, 38 cubic meter, rate is 15,000. Value is 5,70,000. Then staircase RCC 4.5 cubic meter, rate 16,000, 72,000. Lintel and shajjas and subtotal for RCC frame is 14,42,000. Then, so this is just RCC work in foundation as well as in superstructure. So there may be certain other items also which I have not taken. You may have to take there also, as you may take the plinth beams, etc. Plinth beams and lintel beams. So you may take that also into consideration. Then for masonry walls, so external walls are 230 millimeter thick, that is 9-inch thick walls in cement border 1:6. And internal partition walls are 115 millimeter thick, means 4.5-inch thick. Brick masonry in Pune country ranges from 75 to 95 per brick, including mortar and labor. Depending upon the quality, we adopt 85 rupees per brick equivalent. So translating into approximately 4,500 per cubic meter of brick wall. So external wall 230 millimeter thick, 1:6 quantity is 52 cubic meter, rate is 4,500. Internal partition walls 28 cubic meter, 3,000 rate per cubic meter. Then parapet wall 115 millimeter thick at the top of the roofing. Then plaster, external plaster, we are using 1:5, and internal plaster is 1:5, and ceiling plaster is 1:4. These are the general specifications, but you have to look for the specification at site. So you calculate these quantities, you multiply it with the rate, you get the amount. So subtotal for the masonry and plaster, it comes out to be 6,46,000.
Sir, there is one submission. This per brick equivalent rate, this point is missing. It is about 8.5 because 1 cubic meter of brick contains 500 bricks. So it is about
So
10 times.
Maybe. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable input. It may be some printing error. Then waterproofing and terrace treatment. Terrace finish, tile terracing 115 quantity 115 square meter, rate is 500. Brick bat over it 115 square meter, rate is 900 per square meter. Then in bathrooms for waterproofing, we are applying acrylic two courts, 65 square meter at the rate of 800. Then for expansion joints and sealants, etc., we are using 18,000 per as a lump sum. So total comes out to be 2,31,000. Then similarly, finishing work, flooring, doors, windows, and finishes. So we are using vitrified tiles of 600 millimeter by 600 millimeter in the living and bedrooms. Quantity 145 square meter. Rate is 1500 per square meter, 2,17,500. Then in kitchens and bathrooms, we are using ceramic anti-skid tiles. Quantity is 45 square meter. Rate is 1,100 per square meter, 49,500. Then in porch and passages, we are using granite flooring. Quantity is 80 square meter. Rate is 3,000 per square meter. Amount 54,000. Then skirting tiles, 100 millimeter height. 150, 85, it is made in the running meter. Rate is 250, value is 46,500. Then on staircase steps, we are using Kota stone. So 22 square meter, rate is 1500 per square meter, value is 33,000. So subtotal of the flooring comes out to be 4,250,000. Then for door, windows, and grills, so you may calculate these quantities in cubic feet or cubic meter, depending upon if you are able to tell that. Here I am just taking it in numbers. So it depends upon how do you calculate the quantities. So here I am taking it as a number of doors or number of windows. Basically, you can calculate in cubic meter or cubic feet if you know the rates, and if you can do that. If you have drawings available with you, you can do that in that terms also. Main door, it is of teak frame, teak shutter. It is one number, approximately 75,000. Then internal doors, teak frame flush doors, 8 numbers, 30,000 per door, 40,000. Then UPVC sliding windows, 12 numbers, 18,000 per window, 2,16,000. Then MS grills for windows, it is approximately 60,000. And window ventilators with louvers, 6 number at the rate of 4,000 per ventilator, 24,000. So you can calculate these quantities in numbers, or if you know the rate, or if you do not know the rates, then you calculate the quantities in cubic meter and then go for the schedule of rates. Per cubic meter rates are given in the schedule of rates. You can use that. Then sanitary, plumbing, and electrical works. So most of these things you can do it either in percentage, or if you know the number of items and the types of material used there, you can calculate in that terms also. So there are 3 numbers of WC in the house, or Eva brand. So 45,000. Wash basins with fittings, 3 number, 36,000. Bath fittings, tap, showers, etc., 42,000. Kitchen sink with mixer, 18,000. Then PVC soil pipes and fittings, 55,000. Water supply piping, 65,000. Overhead tank, 5,000 liters syntax pipe, 35,000. Underground sump, he has make of 15,000 liter, 90,000. Septic tank plus soak pit, 45,000. If this thing is available there, if it is a direct supply, then you can take that into consideration. So total sanitary and plumbing comes out to be 4,31,000. Then similarly for electrical works, Service connection and meter board, etc. 25,000, including security, etc. Then main distribution board MCB 18,000. Internal concealed wiring 1,20,000. Modular switches and sockets, AC provision points, external lighting and garden points, earthing and lighting protection, fire alarm, two detectors, etc. So there may be n number of things which I have not mentioned here. You have gone to the site and do note down. You can very easily calculate their estimated amount. So this is a total amount of electricals, approximately 3,15,000. Then for external development and miscellaneous charges, compound wall and gate. So 1.8 meter compound wall, brick wall. So its cost, I have taken it as a lump sum. You can have it in running meter rate is given in CPWD plunge area rates. You can use that. Otherwise, you can calculate the quantity in cubic meter and you can calculate its value. Then MS gate double leaf 4.5 meter, I have taken its value as 45,000. Wicket gate at a smaller gate was there also of 12,000. So subtotal is 1,69,000. Then paving and landscaping, paver block driveway 60 square meters 72,000. Garden area lawn plus shrubs etc. For their maintenance 35,000. For landscaping etc. Rain harvesting pit 22,000. So total is 1,29,000. Then miscellaneous items we are not taking into consideration painting. So either you can calculate its quantity and multiply it with the schedule of rates. Here I am just taking it as a lump sum, but in practice, if you have to defend, you calculate the quantity of painting exterior and interior paint quantity, and then you multiply it with the schedule of rates. So I am just giving you the things which you have to mention: exterior painting, interior painting, kitchen granite platforms and tiles in the kitchen, overhead water tank stand of mild steel 18,000. So subtotal is 2,24,000. So we calculate the current cost. So foundation work it is 3,78,500. RCC framed superstructure, column beams, slabs, etc. 14,42,000. Masonry and plaster 6,46,000. Waterproofing and roofing treatment 2,31,000. Flooring works 4,250,000. Doors, windows and grills 6,15,000. Sanitary and plumbing 4,31,000. Sanitary and plumbing. These are the different things which we have calculated. And then this is a subtotal of all is 49,80,000. Then we add contingencies at the rate of 3%. Then contractors profit at 10%. And total replacement cost comes out to be 57,27,860. Approximately 57,28,000. And if you calculate per square meter, it is approximately 26,036 per square meter. So which is consistent with the prevailing construction rates for standard housing. So these are just the things which I have mentioned. There may be n number of things which I have not taken into consideration. So as a valuer, as an engineer or as an architect, you know how to calculate these estimated quantities and their amount. Now over this you have to apply depreciation. So most of the time we apply physical depreciation. So these are to be applied as per the guidelines or the standards of which are given by your RVO. Or so here in this property we are just taking physical deterioration. So we are not taking into consideration functional obsolescence or economic obsolescence. So why we are not taking functional obsolescence or external obsolescence into consideration? We have written here that the layout remains contemporary, the neighborhood in Anud is excellent and improving, and there is no observable functional deficiencies in the building. So this simplifies the depreciation calculations to single important analysis using age life method. Otherwise, if the building, if you see if there is some economic obsolescence or functional obsolescence, you have to apply that also. So many times, most of the times we are using only functional, physical deterioration only. We are not using these economic and functional obsolescence. But if you are doing it on a detailed cost estimation, then you have to mention what type of solids you have taken into consideration and why other types of solids you have not taken into consideration. Because you have to defend your evaluation either in the court or at some other concerned authority. Okay. Now for depreciation, you know how the depreciation is to be calculated. First of all, we will calculate it with the simple method, that is straight line method. So here you have gone to the site, year of construction is 2009, valuation date is October 2025, age is 15 years, condition of the property is good, it is well maintained, no structural distress, all surface is functional, fresh exterior paint in 2022, you check it. So basically for calculation of depreciation, you don't have to take into consideration chronological age. You have to calculate, you have to go for effective age. If effective age may be less than a chronological age or it may be higher than chronological age depending upon the conditions of the building. So here I am taking it effective age as 15 years, though the chronological age is 15 years, because it is very well maintained property and it has been repainted in 2025, 22, sorry. So here it is a difference of effective and chronological age. So you have to mention why you have taken this effective age. Then we assume that economical age as 60 years, as it is a RCC framed residential. So depreciation, effective age divided by economic life multiplied by 100. So we are not taking into consideration salvage value here. So it is 12 upon 60 into 100, 20%. So depreciation is 20%. So replacement cost new of the building is 57,28,000. Depreciation amount is 20% of 57,28,000, 11,45,600. So depreciated value of the building. So here depreciation is to be applied as we have been applying in our day-to-day valuation process. So you must know the difference in Indian valuation practice aligned with the appraisal institution's approach. It recognizes that effective age may be less than chronological age when a building is exceptionally well maintained. So here the 3-year reduction from 15 to 12 year reflects documented maintenance expenditure and the absence of deferred repairs. So many times it may be higher than the chronological age. Here it is 15 years, we are taking it as 12 years. Maybe that certain cases chronological age is 15 years, you may have to take it 18 or 20 years or more than that also, if it is not well maintained. The formula, you know, so if we use constant percentage method and assume as 10% depreciation, salvage value, you know, for salvage value, if salvage value is known to you, you have to use this formula C into S upon C raised to power M upon N, where M is age of the building and N is the total life of the building. So C is 57,28,000 original cost. Salvage value is 10% of 57,28,000. Salvage value comes out to be 57,280. You calculate, so you know this formula directly give you depreciation value. You need not to calculate depreciation separately. So 57,28,000 into 5,72,800 divided by 57,28,000 raised to power 12 upon 16. The value comes out to be 36,77,290. So it is somewhat lower than value which you calculate with stat line method. So as a reference, so though there is no hard and fast rule, as a reference, you may take as this table as the residential building, if it is RCC framed, life 60 years, salvage value 10%, maximum depreciation 90%. Means if salvage value is 10%, means depreciation is 90%. So in this way, you can assume the value from this table. Otherwise, you know how to assume salvage value and economic life of the structure. So no standard has given the economic life of the building. So it basically it will depend upon the type of structure, type of material used, specification of the structure. So you have to decide about the economic life of the building on your own. So
देखिए यहाँ
then
पर
you
मैं ऐड
can
करना
arrive at
चाहूंगा, अगर आप कंपनीज एक्ट के अंडर वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हैं तो शेड्यूल 2 को रेफर करिए, वहां पर आपको यूजफुल लाइफ दी हुई है। और इनकेस अगर आप इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट के लिए कर रहे हैं तो वहां पर डेप्रिसिएशन का चार्ट दिया हुआ है, वहां पर परसेंटेज दी हुई है। दोनों में अलग अलग है, आपको देखना पड़ेगा आप किस पर्पस के लिए वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हैं। अगर आप कंपनीज एक्ट के लिए कर रहे हैं तो डोंट फॉरगेट टू यूज द शेड्यूल 2। वहां पर आपको यूजफुल लाइफ दी हुई है बिल्डिंग्स की, अलग अलग तरह की, अलग अलग बिल्डिंग्स की, तो उसको यूज करके ही आप डेप्रिसिएशन निकालिए। अगर आप किसी और तरीके से निकाल रहे हैं दैट में बी चैलेंजेबल। और शेड्यूल 2 आपको अगर सर्च करना है, कंपनीज एक्ट के बैक में दिया हुआ है नेक्सर में। अदरवाइज आप cvnews.in में जाइए, वहां पर आप नीचे सर्च विंडो है, वहां पर शेड्यूल 2 ऑफ कंपनीज एक्ट टाइप कर दीजिए, आपको पूरा का पूरा शेड्यूल मिल जाएगा। ये लाइफ टाइम के लिए आप उसको लिंक को प्रिजर्व कर लीजिए, कहीं भी जरूरत पड़े तो आप उसको यूज कर सकते हैं। एक बार उसको स्टडी जरूर करिए। एटलीस्ट लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग के वैल्यूअर्स, लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग की रिलेटेड क्वांटिटी को स्टडी करिए, या डिटेल्स को, इनपुट्स को थोड़ा सा स्टडी करिए। और प्लांट एंड मशीनरी के जो वैल्यूअर्स हैं, वो मशीनरी और उससे रिलेटेड जो वहाँ पर चीजें दी गई हैं उससे रिलेटेड आप उसको थोड़ा सा रेफर करिए और थोड़ा सा कोशिश करिए उसको याद रखने के लिए। बहुत इजी है, लेकिन एज अ कंपनी एक्ट वैल्यूअर आपको वो ही शेड्यूल 2 ही इस्तेमाल करना है। अगर आप आईटी एक्ट के अंडर वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हैं तो आपको डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ट आपको दिया गया है इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से, उसमें परसेंटेज दी गई है, उसी को ही रेफर करना है। दोनों को इंटरमिक्सिंग नहीं करनी, अदरवाइज आपको चैलेंज फेस करना पड़ सकता है। यस सर, ओवर टू यू।
सर डिप्रिसिएशन मेथड कौन सा यूज करना है? जैसे कि इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के लिए कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज मेथड और अदर्स के लिए स्टेट लाइन मेथड या अदरवाइज?
सर इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट में डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ट अपेंडिक्स 1 में दिया गया है। बाकी जो मेथड आपको इस्तेमाल करना है, यहाँ पर आपको दोनों तीनों मेथड आपको बताए जा रहे हैं। उनमें से कौन सा बेस्ट सूटेबल है, किस तरह की प्रॉपर्टी के लिए बेस्ट सूटेबल है, वो आपको अभी बताया जाएगा। वहां पर सिंकिंग फंड मेथड भी आप को अलाउड है कैलकुलेट करने के लिए, अगर कैपिटल गेन पर्पस के लिए है। तो कौन सा मेथड बेस्ट सूटेबल होगा, ये आपको अभी हम लोग आगे डिस्कस करेंगे। राजेंद्र सर, आर यू देयर?
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
यस सर, यस सर। तो वो हम अभी डिस्कस करेंगे। अपेंडिक्स 1 में आपको डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ट दिया गया है इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट में, और शेड्यूल 2 आपको दिया गया है कंपनीज एक्ट में, यूजफुल लाइफ।
ठीक है संदीप जी,
Yes,
थैंक यू फॉर योर वैल्यूएबल इनपुट। So in the end, you can arrive at the final value of the property. You know, land value 300 square meter, 82,000 square feet. Are three comparable transactions we have used. So replacement cost for recovery, we have used Pune market rates. Depreciation, we are taking it on straight line method. So depreciated value of the building. So total value comes out to be 2 crore 46 lakh land value and 45 lakh 82,400 building value. Total value 2 crore 91 lakh 82,400. Total value 2 crore 92 lakh. So these are the properties. Different parameter property identification, valuation parameters, valuation summary, and based upon that you can give this test or forced sale value. We are taking it 15%, so it will depend upon what percentage you apply. So then the things which you have to apply, see here in this case, sensitivity analysis. So what is sensitivity analysis? Anybody?
जो वेरिएबल्स है वो हर एक वेरिएबल का क्या इफेक्ट होता है, उसमें वेरिएशन हुआ तो वो देखना।
So thank you, sir. So basically it is what assumptions you have made and how that assumptions can affect the value. So how the changes in the key assumptions affect the value. So you have to test your valuation against the key assumptions. So basically here, see here, key assumption is if you are using cost approach, the key assumption is land rate. See here, the land value is 2 crore 92 lakh. And we have assumed the rate as 85,000 per square meter. So land rate is 82,000 per square meter. Land rate is 2 crore 46 lakh. So if we increase the rate by 4,000 per square meter or decrease the rate by 4,000 per square meter, how it will change the value? See here, for land, if we see the value is 2 crore 46 lakh. It is land value is 84.2% of the total value, and building value is 15.8%. In this scenario, in this example, the value of land is 84.2%, and the value of the building is 15.8%. So see here, there are two variables basically cost approach. One is land value, land rate, and other is building rate. If you are doing valuation based upon cost approach, there are two variables, two key assumptions. One key assumption is land rate, and other key assumption is building rate. Now see, in the area where you are doing valuation, the prices of the land has appreciated by 15 to 25 times, and construction cost, it hardly increases by 3 to 4 times in the past 2 decades. If we take the things into consideration, you know, in the past 2 decades, the land values has increased by 15 to 25 times, whereas the construction costs, they have grown by 3 to 4 times only. So basically in tier 1 Indian cities. So this is high land dominance, 85% is characteristics in tier 1 Indian cities. But in tier 2 cities, land, here it is constituting 84%. But in tier 2 cities, it ranges from 40 to 60% of the property. Okay, please. So तुम्हें 8 बजे सुबह 40 to 60% of the value. So making the building component more significant in the valuation. So when you are doing sensitivity analysis, first thing you have to look in which area you are doing valuation. If you are doing it in tier 1 city, there the land value ranges from 80 to 85%, more than 80%. But in tier 2 cities, it generally varies from 40 to 60%. And in the villages, the difference is, again, it will come down to less than 40 to 60%. So if you increase a value or decrease a value by 4,000 per square meter for the land, the total value will be changed by approximately plus minus 12 lakh. And if you change the effective age by 5 years, let us suppose, if the effective age is changed by 5 years, the value will be changed by only 5 lakhs approximately. Instead of 12 years, if you are taking it for 7 years or 17 years, the value will be changed by only 5 lakh approximately. So this valuation is, the land value is far dominant driver in this valuation. So sinking, you can also use sinking fund method if you are doing CBDT. If you are doing capital valuation for capital gain purposes, you can use sinking fund method of depreciation. So for sinking fund depreciation of method, you first of all you have to calculate what amount of sinking fund you have to deposit. Here, formula for sinking fund coefficient means how much amount you have to deposit per year. IC is sinking fund coefficient formula is R over 1 plus R raised to power n minus 1. And total amount which has to be accumulated, formula is 1 plus R raised to power m minus 1 upon R. Here n is age of the building, n is life of the building, and m is age of the building. and total depreciation percentage formula is IC to S on 200. So reconstruction value of the new building is 57,28,000. Economic life is 60 years. Effective age is 12 years, and the R is 5%. So first of all, you calculate IC. IC, you put all the values. R is 5% over 1 plus 5% raised to power 60 minus 1. Value is 0.0028. So for 1 rupees, it means, what does this mean? For 1 rupees, you have to deposit this much of amount, 0.002828. And if you have to deposit sinking fund required for 57,28,000, 16,203. So this is much amount is to be deposited every year. This much amount is to be deposited every year. And you have been depositing, age of the building is 12 years. It means you have been depositing the amount for 12 years. So the sinking fund which have been accumulated in 12 years will be formula is 16,200 multiplied by 1 plus R raised to power n minus 1 upon R. You know, formula for future value. S, accumulated sum for rupees 1. So you put all the values. It means the sinking fund is 2,57,897. So this is the depreciation by sinking fund. See here. Depreciation here with the straight line method. Is 11,45,600. By constant percentage method, it is approximately 21 lakh. But with the sinking fund method, depreciation is only 4.5%.
Can anyone explain what happened here? तीनों में इतना डिफरेंस क्यों है? स्पेशली थर्ड जो मेथड है उसमें सिर्फ 2 लाख आया है, फर्स्ट स्टेट लाइन में 15 लाख आया है, सेकंड में कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज में 21 लाख डेप्रिसिएशन आया है, थर्ड मेथड में 2,57,000 आया है। सब कुछ फिगर सेम है, बिल्डिंग सेम है, आप करने वाला वैल्यूअर भी सेम है और बिल्डिंग का ओनर भी सेम है। ये क्या गड़बड़ हो गया? ये पैसा किधर चला गया डेप्रिसिएशन का? कैन एनीवन एक्सप्लेन?
हाँ सर, इसमें स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड में जो डिप्रिसिएशन है दैट इज यूनिफॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड ओवर लाइफ ऑफ बिल्डिंग। तो वो कौन सा भी ईयर हो, स्टार्टिंग के हो, मिडिल हो,
बता
लास्ट
रहे हैं स्पेशली फॉर यंग मेंबर्स, उनके लिए बहुत जरूरी है सुनना और बहुत ये काम की चीज बताना चाहते हैं। आप थोड़ा सा कंसंट्रेट करिए तब आपको, क्योंकि कभी भी आपसे पूछा जा सकता है कि आपने स्टेट लाइन क्यों किया, कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज क्यों नहीं किया, या फिर सिंकिंग फंड मेथड क्यों नहीं इस्तेमाल किया, कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज क्यों किया, डीसीएफ मेथड क्यों किया, आपने स्टेट लाइन इंजीनियर्स मेथड क्यों नहीं किया, या सीएज मेथड क्यों किया, इंजीनियर्स मेथड क्यों नहीं किया। तो आपके पास जवाब होना चाहिए। क्या जवाब होना चाहिए? उत्तम राव जी आपको बताने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा आप नोट करिए, अगर नहीं तो आप बुलेट पॉइंट बना लीजिए। कुछ भी आपका डाउट है तो हम आगे सेशन में आपका डाउट लेंगे। यस सर, प्लीज ओवर टू यू उत्तम राव सर।
हाँ यस सर, तो जैसे कि बताया स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड में ओवर पीरियड ऑफ लाइफ ऑफ बिल्डिंग इट इज यूनिफॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग, मिडल एंड एंड, it is uniform for any year, whereas in constant percentage method this constant percentage is applied on big sum, total value of building। तो वो आंकड़ा बड़ा होने की वजह से वो परसेंटेज लगा के आने वाला आंकड़ा भी बड़ा रहता। तो शुरू में वो शुरुआती यानी कि बिल्डिंग के शुरुआती एज में पीरियड में बहुत ज्यादा डिप्रिसिएशन बताता और वो रिड्यूसिंग रहता, क्योंकि अपन जिस पे परसेंटेज लगा रहे हैं वो अमाउंट रिड्यूस हो जाती, रिड्यूसिंग बैलेंस पे। और उसके उल्टा, बिल्कुल उल्टा सिंकिंग फंड में होता। सिंकिंग फंड एकोमुलेट होते जाता, वो तो यानी कि समझो जीरो से ही होता वैसे तो, और फर्स्ट ईयर का जो भी आया इसमें प्रीमियम, तो फिर सेकंड ईयर का जुड़ जाता, ऐसे जुड़ते जुड़ते स्मॉल अमाउंट गेट अकोमुलेट्स ओवर लाइफ ऑफ बिल्डिंग। सो उसमें शुरुआती पीरियड में बहुत कम रहता और आखिर में बहुत ज्यादा रहता। तो दीज आर जस्ट नंबर गेम्स इन मैथमेटिक्स, we have to judiciously use depending upon the structure or the over which we are applying depreciation. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for this explanation and detailed explanation. तो आई थिंक जो आपका क्वेश्चन था शुरू में उसका आंसर खुद ही आपने दे दिया है, कौन सा मेथड इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए, लेकिन अभी हम उसके बारे में हम आगे डिस्कस करेंगे। तीनों में से कौन सा मेथड कहाँ और क्यों इस्तेमाल करना है, और आपने अपनी वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट में तीनों में से कौन सा मेथड देना है। देखिए, कैलकुलेट तो आपको तीनों से ही करना चाहिए टू बी ऑन द सेफर साइड, लेकिन फाइनल वैल्यूएशन में आपको जस्टिफिकेशन के साथ आपको प्रॉपर, आपको समरी में आपको कौन सा मेथड के थ्रू आप इनकॉर्पोरेट करेंगे, दैट इज द बिगेस्ट थिंग टू बी ऑब्जर्व्ड बाय अ वैल्यूअर। तो मेथोडोलॉजी डिस्कस करते वक्त अभी आईबीबीआई में भी कंपलसरी है कि आप जो भी वैल्यूएशन देंगे उसकी मेथोडोलॉजी डिस्कस करेंगे, और सेम चीज अभी दूसरे एक्ट्स में भी सेम होने वाली है, बैंकिंग वैल्यूएशन में भी ऐसा ही होने वाला है। तो आपको मेथोडोलॉजी में ये बताना पड़ेगा आप तीनों में से कौन सा मेथड इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं और क्यों कर रहे हैं, आपको इसकी समरी में देना पड़ेगा। क्यों करेंगे, राजविंदर सर अभी हमें बताने वाले हैं। सर, ओवर टू यू सर।
ठीक है सर, अभी हम ये डिस्कस कर लें इस केस को, फिर हम बोलेंगे कि कौन सा मेथड कैसे कहाँ पे डेप्रिसिएशन का लगाना है। वी विल डिस्कस दैट इन द कमिंग स्लाइड्स।
और सेम चीज ही प्लांट एंड मशीनरी के वैल्यूज के लिए भी है। यहाँ पर आपको लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग की जगह वहां पर मशीनरी हो सकता है, लेकिन डेप्रिसिएशन काउंट करने के या कैलकुलेट करने के तीनों मेथड सेम ही हैं। तो अगर यहाँ पर हम एसेट क्लास को बदल दें तो ऑलमोस्ट द सेम फॉर्मूला विल बी यूज फॉर प्लांट एंड मशीनरी ऑल्सो। यस, ओवर टू यू।
तो कि कौन कौन सी एरर्स जो है वो यहाँ पे इनकॉर्पोरेट हो सकते हैं, वो चीज हमें देखने क्या रखनी है। फर्स्ट थिंग इज यूजिंग हिस्टोरिकल रेट इंस्टेड ऑफ करंट रिप्लेसमेंट रेट्स। Many times we may use original construction cost. Example, as it was constructed in 2019 instead of current 2025 replacement. So you remember that you have to take current replacement cost. Over that you have to apply the depreciation. You don't ever use that historic rate that was rate in 2009. So this is a thing many times some of the valuers are confused with. So the systematical understate RCN is in inflationary environment. So always use current schedule of rates or obtain fresh contract reports. So this is where we can do some mistake. Instead of using 2024 replacement rate, we may use 2009 replacement rate. That is wrong. Then omitting significant improvements or extensions. So when you go to the site, you must look for extensions, additional floors, or significant improvements that were added after original construction that was not there in the original construction. So each addition must be assessed separately with its own age, specification, and cost. Also, never double count items including in the lump sum rates. So here we have not taken into consideration economic and functional obsolescence. But when you do the valuation, go to the site, you may find that the building has some economic or external obsolescence, and it may having some functional obsolescence also. So many times, and but most of the times, in 99% of the cases, we are not taking into consideration functional and external obsolescence into consideration. That is where the problem arises. When you have to defend your value, this is a thing where many times we ignore functional and external obsolescence, which may be much higher in certain cases, especially external obsolescence. So it may be, for example, if this bungalow is nearer to an industrial zone, it may suffer 10 to 15% external obsolescence. Or a building with substandard ceiling may have functional obsolescence. So both require separate quantification and reduction. So this is a problem. 10-15 minutes. Then many times, if a rate of a certain item is not available with you, you may have to do the analysis of rates. As a valuer, as an engineer, or as an architect, you must know how the analysis of rates is done. Most of us have learned this analysis of rate in our graduation studies. So we will be taking an example how this analysis of rate is done for an M25 grade of concrete, which we have used in the columns. So you know how it is calculated. Cement, we are using a OPC 53 grade, but nowadays OPC 53 grade cement is not available. So we are just taking an example at the rate of 4,400 kg per cubic meter, 8 bags quantity, rate 420 per bag, 30,360. Sand 0.45 cubic meter, force aggregate 0.9 cubic meter, steel reinforcement 150 kg, formwork, shuttering, etc. 320. So here in analysis of rate, you have to consider quantities of the materials as well as quantities of the labor. So you must know how these quantities are calculated. So for cement, you have to use for one cubic meter of cement. For wet mortar, you need approximately 1.52 cubic meters of cement. Sorry, for 1 cubic meter of RCC, cement concrete, you need 1.52 cubic meter of dry mortar. If you are calculating it for concrete, and if you are calculating it for cement mortar, as in the case of plaster, dry quantity, it is 1.2 cubic meter approximately. So basically, when you mix the material, first of all, sand will fill the voids in the concrete coarse aggregate, and then cement will fill the voids again of coarse and fine aggregate. So if you combine 1 cubic meter of coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and cement, it will not give you a total volume of 1 cubic meter. So for that you need a quantity of 1.52 cubic meter. From there the ratio you can calculate the quantities of materials. And for labors you need some experience that how much labor help, mason, helper, etc. will be required. Then mixer, vibrator charges, water charges, etc. Then for form work and shuttering, how much will be needed. So this is just an example that how you can carry out an analysis of rate. If certain items are there in the building for which rates are not available, then you may have to carry out this analysis of rate. So this is just to make the things clear that how the analysis of rates is done. So you calculate this analysis, the value comes out to be 244,748 cubic meter per cubic meter approximately. And we have taken value as 15,000, which is well within the range. So then sensitivity analysis means what if scenario. So it is basically for income approach methods where you use a capitalization rate. So many times what happens if you even 0.5% shift in the rate, in the capitalization rate, the value may be changed by 6 to 8% in India. So as in the last time we have discussed how this capitalization rate is calculated. So that is important rate that even 0.5% shift can change the value by 6 to 8%. For example, we are taking an example that base case value is 10.10 crore, net operating income is 75,78,000, capitalization rate, if we take 7.5% capitalization rate, net operating income divided by 7.5%, the value comes out to be 10.10 crore. Now see, if we change rent is 70 rupees per per square feet and capitalization rate is 7.5%. Value is gross income is potential gross income is 84 lakh, net operating income is 75.7 lakh, and value is 10.10 crore with the 75.78 divided by 7.5. Now see, if we change the rent to 73.2, sorry, 73 points, means increase by 3.5 rupees. This is how the sensitivity analysis is done in case of income approach. The value potential gross income will increase to 88.2 and the net operating income is 79.64. See here, the value is increased by 5.15%. If we increase the rent by decrease the rent by 5%, means instead of 70 we are taking it as 66.5. Net potential gross income will be 84 lakh, 79.8 lakh. Potential gross net operating income 71.92 and the value 9.5 crore. Means here this value is changed by 5%. Means if we increase or decrease our rent by 5%, the value changes by 5% approximately. Similarly, if we change the capitalization rate, instead of 7.5%, we take 8% as a capitalization rate. See, the value will decrease by 6.25%. Instead of 10.10 crore, it will be 9.47 crore. Similarly, if you decrease the capitalization rate by 5%, value will be 7%. Capital value will be increased by 7.19%. Means 0.5% change in the capitalization rate, the values are changing by 6 to 7 lakh percent. But in rent, see here it is only 0.5% capitalization rate, and in the rent it is 5% change. That is giving you 5% approximately change. So this capitalization rate is very important. Selection of capitalization rate is very important in income approach. So when you are doing valuation, so this non-linear relationship demands careful cap rate
देखिए अभी
calibration in
आज
every
की डेट में सिनेरियो ये है कि एज अ वैल्यूअर आपको कोई भी क्लाइंट अप्रोच कर सकता है सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस के लिए फॉर वैल्यूइंग हिज प्रॉपर्टी। ऑफ कोर्स कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी की ही ये सुटेबल होता है। तो एज अ वैल्यूअर यू शुड बी प्रिपेयर्ड टू गाइड हिम about the sensitivity analysis of his property while finding the value of the property. Yes, sir. Over to you.
So this is sensitivity analysis you have to take into consideration. And when you are doing valuation, you have to take certain risk analysis also. What are the risk analysis means? What are the potential pitfalls?
कोई भी एमएनसी कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट आपके सिटी में या आपके आसपास इन्वेस्ट करना चाहती है तो वो आपसे रिस्क एनालिसिस मांगेगी सबसे पहले। जो भी प्रपोज उसकी साइट होगी उसके बारे में आपसे एज अ वैल्यूअर आपको उसका रिस्क एनालिसिस देना पड़ेगा डिटेल में। तो कैसे दे सकते हैं, क्या होता है, मोस्ट ऑफ द वैल्यूअर्स डोंट नो। तो वो उनको या तो प्रोजेक्ट छोड़ना पड़ता है या फिर वो अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगर एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं तो उनसे गलती हो जाती है। दैट कैन बी चैलेंजेबल। या तो आपकी रेपुटेशन खराब होती है या एमएनसी आगे से आपको वो प्रोजेक्ट देने के लिए मना कर देती है। तो आपको पता होना चाहिए बिफोर एक्सेप्टिंग द प्रोजेक्ट कि रिस्क एनालिसिस कैसे किया जाता है। यस सर, ओवर टू यू।
So in the risk analysis, you have to check market risk. Market risk means economic downturns, oversupply from the new developments, policy shifts, demonetization, RERA, etc., and demand compression in specific micro markets. In the for property specific risk, you have to check for structural defects in the building, legal title disputes, encumbrances, tenant retention challenges if you are doing valuation of our income approach, and functional and obsolescence of dated buildings designs.
देखिए ये दो तीन लाइनें आपको वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट में लिखने से आपका रिस्क एनालिसिस पूरा नहीं हो जाता। यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट द डाटा फॉर एटलीस्ट लास्ट 5 years एंड फॉर फ्यूचर 5 years। तो हर चीज के बारे में, जैसे स्ट्रक्चरल डिफेक्ट के बारे में क्या डाटा है, लीगल टाइटल डिस्प्यूट्स के बारे में क्या डाटा है, इनकम्बरेंसेस के बारे में क्या डाटा है, प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स हाइक के बारे में क्या डाटा है, ये पिछले 5 साल का आप कैलकुलेट करेंगे और अगले 5 साल का प्रेडिक्ट करेंगे। उसके हिसाब से आपको रिस्क एनालिसिस उसको देना है। सिर्फ ये दो लाइनें जो यहाँ पर लिखी है एज इट इज कॉपी पेस्ट करके आपका रिस्क एनालिसिस पूरा नहीं हो जाएगा। यस सर, ओवर टू यू।
Then you have to check for operational risk, means where if it is especially if it is an income approach, income generation property, poorly management of the property, suddenly property tax hikes, tenant defaults, or unplanned maintenance expenditure, which may be eroding your net operating income. Then financial risk also. So if RBI rate hikes increasing financial cost, refinancing for difficulty at maturity, and a loan to value ratio will be tightening by the banks under regulatory pressure. So risk factors, you can check it from this table. If there is higher supply, which is less chances, but its impact is very high. So mitigation strategy means proactive tenant retentions, upgrade amenities, flexible lease structures. How the owner can mitigate these things. If the principal property tax hike is there, there are less chances. So net operating income it may change with 15 to 20% increase scenario. So if the tenant exists on lease expiry, begin remarketing 12 months before expiry, maintain occupancy in the pipeline. And structural defect discovered. So always do annual structural audits. You must have, owner must have 20 to 30 lakh contingency reserve fund for such conditions. So ठीक है संदीप जी, we may have a 10-minute टी ब्रेक्स, थोड़ा सा सारे लोग जो है वासी आने लगी, नींद आने लगी, सभी को लगता है
सभी को बाउंस हो रहा है अभी लगता है, थोड़ा रिफ्रेश हो जाएंगे सर। 10 मिनट का ब्रेक दे दीजिए तो बेटर रहेगा।
ठीक है सर, तो वी विल बी बैक एट 7:10.
Right, sir. So, friends, it is 7 p.m. now. We will take a short tea break for 10 minutes. Then we will join sharp at 7:10. 7:10 पर जुड़ेंगे। आप जुड़े रहिए, लेकिन स्क्रीन ऑफ कर सकते हैं। You can switch off your screens, and we will start sharp at 7:10. 7:10 पे शुरू करेंगे। Sir, is it audible now?
Yeah, yes sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, if you want, you can share the screen from your own computer.
नहीं सर, हो रहा है।
Okay, then it's okay. Can we start, sir? Yes.
Yes. Is it visible now, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So what we have learned today in the detailed cost estimation, first of all, calculate the land cost, means market value per square feet or per square meter. Then you have to check it for circle rates, zoning and development potential, etc. Then you have to calculate direct construction cost. You calculate materials. You calculate the different items and apply schedule of rates. Then you calculate indirect cost, overhead cost, such as architectural, structural engineer fees, municipal permits, site supervision, other things. Then you may add financial cost, etc., financing cost, etc., and direct developers profit. And then you may use basically here you have to apply detailed cost estimation process. So this is an example of how you can apply adjustment in market approach. We are taking just an example. This is just an example, rough. So many things you have to take into consideration. For example, in market approach, we are valuing a 1500 square feet residential apartment in a prime locality. You are having three comparables. First is for 1,500 for 1,450 square feet in area. Its sale price was 2.5 crore, and the rate is per square feet comes out to be 17,241. So net adjustment is 500, which is an older building, and its size is smaller. We applied plus 500. So net adjustment is minus 500, means 16,441. Then comparable B is 1,550 square feet. It was sold for 2.7 crore. So it is somewhat higher area. We apply a adjustment of minus 200 rupees. So the value is 17,419 per square feet. So when we apply adjustment, the value is 17,290. Then we are having a comparable C. Was sold for 2.65 crores. Per square feet rate is 17,617. So it is a newer building. One is a old building. So we applied a 1,500 rupees for newer buildings. The value is 19,167. And you take average of these three. So the value is 17,709 per square feet. So subject property value 1,500 square feet residential apartment multiplied with the per square feet rate value comes out to be 2.66 crore. So in Indian scenario, you may have to, if you are doing valuation, you have to check for dedicated covered parking premium, Vastu compliant uplift if it is nearer to metro or railway proximity. Then depending upon the floor rise premium, higher floors, and RERA compliant project status. We are taking an example. We are valuing a 10,000 square feet commercial office building in Bangalore with 7.5% capitalization rate. This we have already done. How do we have arrived at this value as 10.10 crore? So of this, we have also done risk analysis also. So in the end, when you apply all the three approaches, then you have to check which will be the best method you have to apply for a particular case. So remember, in the market approach, it may overstate value for aged building, high replacement cost, but understate due to accumulated depreciation. So it is best for new and unique assets. And market approach, it reflects real-time buyer sentiments and market activity. It may undervalue future income potential in emerging micro markets. And if you are using income approach, it is forward-looking and quantitative. But cap rate selection is subjective, making it sensitive to market cycles and investor risks appetite. So when you are doing evaluation by using all the three approaches, how you can arrive at a particular value if you are take into consideration all the three methods. This is how you can apply a weightage for a commercial income generating property. So let us suppose from the income approach, you calculate the value as 10.10 crore. You give it 50% weightage, value comes out to be 5.05 crore. From the cost approach, you calculate the value as 9.80 crore. You give it 30% weightage, value is 2.94 crore. And from the cost approach, let us suppose you calculate the value as 10.50 crore. You get with 20% weightage, value is 2.10 crore. So final value comes out to be 10.09 crore.
देखिए, अगर आपने इस तरह वेटेज चार्ट आपने अपनी वैल्यूएशन के साथ में, रिपोर्ट के साथ में लगाया है, पूरी एनालिसिस की है इनकम अप्रोच, कॉस्ट अप्रोच और मार्केट अप्रोच के साथ में, और एंड में आपने ये वेटेज चार्ट लगाकर अपनी वैल्यू कैलकुलेट की है, देन कोई कितना भी कोशिश कर ले आपको चैलेंज नहीं कर पाएगा, क्योंकि आपके पास सारा डाटा अवेलेबल है, सेल कंपैरिजन स्टेटमेंट अवेलेबल है, हर चीज आपके पास अवेलेबल है। तो अगर आपने इस तरह से थोड़ा सा मेहनत से 10% मेहनत आपको ज्यादा करनी है, इससे ज्यादा कुछ भी नहीं है, सिर्फ माइंड अप्लाई करना है और अपने आप को सेफ रखना है। अभी आगे आने वाला टाइम इजी नहीं है, जैसा हम अभी पहले पिछले सालों में करते आए हैं, जो भी कुछ कर दिया हम उसको बोलते थे बस ये मैंने कर दिया है, दैट इज फाइनल। ऐसा नहीं। अब आपसे पूछा जाएगा आपने ये वैल्यू कैसे अराइव की है और क्यों की है, तो आपको जस्टिफिकेशन, क्लैरिफिकेशन देनी पड़ेगी, आइदर ड्यूरिंग इंस्पेक्शन और पीयर रिव्यू और ड्यूरिंग एनी अदर लिटिगेशन। तो ये आपको प्रिपेयर रहना पड़ेगा कि आपने जो वैल्यूएशन रिलीज की। और देखिए, अभी इसके सिनेरियो में धीरे 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 सारे ही आपको जो डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं या दूसरे चीजें हैं वो आनी शुरू हो गई हैं। तो इसीलिए अभी भी कोई भी आप वैल्यूएशन करते हैं उसको लाइटली मत लीजिए, अरे अरे तो बैंकिंग की है तो वीजा के लिए, इसमें कौन पूछेगा। अभी पूछने वाला आगे आने वाले टाइम में हो सकता है। तो अभी आप लाइटली मत लीजिए, नहीं तो आपको आगे आने वाले टाइम में, मैं आपको बार बार बोल रहा हूँ, प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है। तो इसीलिए बेटर है कि हम टाइमली इसको रिकवर कर लें, जो चीज हमारी पेंडेंसी है उसको पूरा कर लें। यस सर, ओवर टू यू।
सर इसमें वेटेज जो असाइन कर रहे हैं उसका कोई गाइडलाइन है कि कितना
गाइडलाइन कोई नहीं है, ऐसा गाइडलाइन नहीं है। स्पेशली जो पहले हमने इससे पहले जो किया है ना, डिस्कस किया है कि जैसे अगर आप मार्केट अप्रोच से कर रहे हो, तो बेसिकली अगर मार्केट अप्रोच में क्या है कि ये जो इनकम अप्रोच है, बेसिकली इसमें एक ही प्रॉब्लम है, कैप रेट सिलेक्शन। अदरवाइज अगर आप एक्चुअल इनकम कर रहे हैं तो वहां से वैल्यूएशन जो है वो आपको मैक्सिमम जो वैल्यू है वो करेक्ट वैल्यूएशन देने की चांसेस है। अगर आप मार्केट अप्रोच से कर रहे हैं तो वहां से ये है कि आपको रियल टाइम बायर के जो सेंटीमेंट है, मार्केट एक्टिविटी है, वो आपको वहां से मिल जाती है। कॉस्ट अप्रोच में अगर कोई बिल्डिंग अगर आप कर रहे हो, जैसे कोई पुरानी बिल्डिंग है, उसमें ये प्रॉब्लम होगी कि आप रिप्लेसमेंट कॉस्ट हायर ले रहे हो, आज की डेट में ले रहे हो, लेकिन डेप्रिसिएशन जो है बहुत ज्यादा कम्युलेटेड हो गई होगी। तो ये जो मेथड है, अगर आप न्यू और यूनिक एसेट्स ले रहे हो तो फिर वो उसके लिए आप कॉस्ट अप्रोच ले रहे हो, तो वो डिपेंड करेगी कि ये जो परसेंटेज ले रहे हैं बिल्डिंग किस तरीके की है।
अब जैसे
मतलब कोई पर्टिकुलरली जरूरी नहीं है कि इनकम अप्रोच के लिए आप 50% ले रहे हो। अगर कोई नई बिल्डिंग है तो उसके लिए आप कॉस्ट अप्रोच में ज्यादा वेटेज दे सकते हो।
अब जैसे ऑफिस बिल्डिंग आजकल रेंट पे देते हैं, इस तरह का
जो उसी लिए हम लोग उसको जो है वेटेज 50% उसके लिए दे रहे हैं।
नहीं, ये तो कमर्शियल बिल्डिंग हो गई, मान लीजिए शॉपिंग
हाँ,
कॉम्प्लेक्स टाइप का हो गया। इन केस जैसे ऑफिस बिल्डिंग कॉम्प्लेक्सेस इस तरह के लोग हायर पर दे रहे हैं, तो उसमें क्योंकि कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट भी ज़्यादा होगा कि शॉप्स में तो सिंपल एनक्लोजर बना करके और उसको दे देते हैं, अंदर डेवलपमेंट कस्टमर खुद करता है। इसमें मार्केट का अप्रोच, मार्केट या कॉस्ट अप्रोच का वेटेज बढ़ जाएगा। तो
वही कह रहा हूँ कि सर अगर आप कर रहे हो तो उस पर डिपेंड करेगा कि किस तरीके की बिल्डिंग है जिसकी आप वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हो। तो आपको चूज करना पड़ेगा कि किस अप्रोच को आप कितनी वेटेज दे रहे हो। दिस इज नॉट फॉर ऑल,
दूसरा
दिस
सर,
इज जस्ट एन एग्जांपल से व्हाट टाइप ऑफ हाउ यू कैन अप्लाई अकमुलेटेड वेटेज।
दूसरा मेरा ओपिनियन ये है कि अगर जैसा आपने बोला ऑफिसेज हैं, तो देखिए कमर्शियल कॉम्प्लेक्स में कुछ भी काम हो सकता है, ऑफिसेज में सिर्फ ऑफिस ही बन सकते हैं। तो उसका तो क्या होगा, कॉस्ट अप्रोच और मार्केट अप्रोच से बिल्कुल भी नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि इनकम ही उसकी मेन, उसको इनकम से ही करना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसका इनकम ही कंसिडरेशन आप करेंगे। और क्या करेंगे, एक मल्टी स्टोरी बिल्डिंग है, उसमें एक फ्लोर पे एक ऑफिस है, लेट इट बी, इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ 10% ऑफ द फ्लोर एरिया, तो स्टेयर्स भी कॉमन है, बाकी सब कॉमन है, तो आप उसका कॉस्ट अप्रोच या मार्केट अप्रोच से कर ही नहीं सकते, कर ही नहीं पाएंगे। उसमें
नहीं मैं
आपको इनकम ही लेनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि रेंट पर देना है, रेंट पर देना है, तो फ्यूचर रेंट कैपिटलाइजेशन या तो आपको उसको उसके हिसाब से करना पड़ेगा, या फिर आपको पर ईयर के हिसाब से करना पड़ेगा, जैसा हमने लास्ट क्लास में हमने डिस्कस किया था, यील्ड कैपिटलाइजेशन या फिर नेट कैपिटलाइजेशन, डायरेक्ट
जी,
कैपिटलाइजेशन, तो
फॉर
उसके
एग्जांपल
हिसाब से ही कर सकते हैं। यस सर, ओवर टू यू।
जी, 3 स्टोरी अगर बिल्डिंग है, उसमें तीनों फ्लोर अगर दे रहे हैं रेंट पर, आजकल बहुत कॉमन हो गया है देने का, तो उसमें उसमें तीनों में अब एक्चुअली हमें तीनों चीज का कंपैरिजन भी देना है, तो समझ गया मैं। उसमें बेसिकली कितना कॉस्ट का वेटेज कितना रखना है और इनकम का कितना वेटेज है, वो सेल्फ असेस ही करना पड़ेगा, इसमें कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट है जैसे। ठीक है सर, अंडरस्टूड।
So this is how you can apply detailed cost estimate approach, and how you can do risk analysis. How can you choose other things related we hardly take into consideration. So एक हम नेक्स्ट होगी क्लास, उसमें हम रिस्क एनालिसिस के ऊपर एक डिटेल्ड डिस्कशन कर लेंगे कि हाउ टू कैरी आउट this risk analysis. That is very important thing nowadays. It is not only the valuation part that is important. If you are doing valuation, especially if you are doing valuation for multinational companies, or many of the values, they are also doing uh, international valuations. This risk analysis is very important.
It is also a good source of generating revenue.
So most that this part risk analysis is not as in syllabus of IBBI, that must be in syllabus of IBBI. They have just added the CAPM only in income approach, but risk analysis is when you see international valuations, they carry out systematic risk analysis. So now we will be taking another.
हम अभी तक तो नहीं है, लेकिन आगे आने वाले टाइम में हो जाए तो कुछ कह नहीं सकते। अभी 2 मिनट है हमारे पास, अगर 2 मिनट में कुछ और रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन आप पूछना चाहते हैं, अदरवाइज वी आर गोइंग टू कंपाइल टुडे सेशन, टेक्निकल सेशन। डिस्कशन चलता रहेगा, टेक्निकल सेशन हम यहाँ पर बंद करना चाहते हैं। अगर कोई और आपके पास कोई सजेशन, कोई क्वेश्चन, कोई डाउट हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं। नो डाउट, ओके। So we are shifting towards the general discussion.